There are various risks that we actually are faced with. And people use all sorts of coping mechanisms. People would probably get into the village banking, the chilimbas and all that, so that they can try and see how they can set aside funds to deal with an eventuality. Now, we all know that at a personal level, you can't fully diversify your risk. And that's why you would probably want to opt for a risk management solution like insurance, because then the risk is carried by the insurance company as opposed to yourself.
Traditional insurance tends to be focused on the formerly employed and those with more assets. Microinsurance, by definition, is insurance for the underserved and unserved market segments.
The role of the tag is to bring out the voice of the voiceless and encourage the designers and the insurers to come up with products that will be all-inclusive, that will be accessible, the way they are designed, the way they are distributed, and the way they are managed.
We talk of the informal sector now as being the biggest segment in Zambia when it comes to economic activities. So those are the people that would also want to be included, in the sense that we want them to have access to these products that can be able to meet their needs.
We think that if we were to take people out of poverty, they all need to be included in this story of financial inclusion. Here's a woman who has sweated maybe to sell at the market for the last 1 month, and then there's a fire inferno and the whole market is gutted, and that which the 5,000 worth of stock that they had just put in their shop is gone. They didn't have any savings, so it means their entire investment is gone. If you take a story of a fisherman in Luapula, and maybe he's invested in a fishing boat, and that boat sinks, and that's all he had put all his investment in that boat, and the boat is gone, and therefore he can't fish anymore. Those actually are the people that need services of insurance, because they are the people that are the most vulnerable.
So we have a guideline which we churned out with the support from the Technical Advisory Group, the TAG. They have been able to lobby and push us to promulgate or to share these guidelines with the industry.
The genesis of the guidelines is really about regulation of microinsurance. At the very beginning, we wanted to have specific microinsurance regulations, which would then provide guidelines to market players on how they design the products, how the products are distributed, and also how consumers are protected.
To guide the insurance industry on best practices for microinsurance, the Pensions and Insurance Authority worked with the Technical Advisory Group to develop the Microinsurance Guidelines.
Inclusivity means a product should be able to be understood, and that means the terms and conditions should be simplified. You avoid jargon and not too much of literature, so that then you cater across the literacy levels of your target market. Inclusivity cuts across the income levels. So in being inclusive, that means we are coming up with products that are priced, that have a range that covers everyone, regardless of their income level.
It must be easy for the end user, the person that you're providing the service to be able to access that service. So we're talking about what is in the contract. It should be very simple to be able to be read. Just one paper, half a page, explains everything is there. You should not hide things in those finer terms that you use small print that a smallholder farmer is not able to see. So they should be very clear that this is what has been insured, this is how much I'm going to get should things go wrong.
So the principle is that any organization should place the client at the center. So no product should be born from a boardroom. That's number one. So number two is you have to make sure that you consult the target market. Once you have those insights, then you can translate them into a product, validate the solution that you've designed out of the consultations. And once the client has been able to say, wow, this is the solution to the problem that I have, then you can launch the product for pilot testing.
A microinsurance product needs to be accessible easily accessible for the people who are supposed to benefit from it, and enrollment should also be easy. So when we talk low-income earners, my mind takes me to a farmer in Northwestern Province, Southern Province, Western Province. People need not travel long distances to buy an insurance product. The distribution channel should be within the actual community so that they don't have to spend extra money in terms of accessing the financial product.
It's the call of duty, if I were to put it that way, in the sense that the customer needs to be put back in the same financial position they were before they suffered the loss. And from a microinsurance perspective, remember these are small sums insurers. So our expectation in an insurer that is embracing the microinsurance principles is to be able to pay those claims within 48 hours. The only way that everybody else can buy into the story of insurance is to deliver on the promise.
An insured person activates a claim, and this is where they would have suffered a loss and they're expecting a benefit from an insurance company. So the process really starts from there. So to make sure that it's efficient, firstly, it has to be transparent. It has to be timely, it has to be clear for both the insurer and the insured person. And really they have to keep up to what the agreement was.
We need to listen more to our customers, and we need to move away from a focus on profit and make the customer really the key. The reason why insurance is there, you could have a policy or a benefit within the policy that allows the customer to claw back a little bit of what they've already been paying. Text messages, birthday messages, constant reminders, let's just keep them aware that this policy is active and is ongoing. That way you actually enhance the communication and you better the experience for the customer.
Responsive marketing relates to the development of marketing and consumer education plans that are customer-centric. The insurers have to come up with marketing and consumer education plans or tools which are going to relate to what a particular target group requires. And in doing so, they need to invest in things like marketing brochures. They also need to invest in flyers and policy documents, let's say in simple English or possibly even local language.
Generally, insurance companies would be more keen to develop products that have a faster investment return. And that is really understandable from a business perspective. However, microinsurance has a developmental sort of aspect to it because your focus is the vulnerable and the low income. In that case, investment products in the sector really would have a long-term perspective. Insurers need to just be accommodative and look at the developmental aspect of microinsurance in terms of just developing products that will be affordable.
We do implore insurance companies that are getting to the inclusive insurance space to invest in risks such as political risk, the reputational risk, management risks, economic risks. Without this principle, any organization cannot confidently define its objectives for the future. And so any insurance company that is planning on getting into the inclusive insurance space should be able to identify some potential risks and also invest in mitigation strategies that are aligned to these risks.
If an insurance company applies to get the seal, which means that they are basically saying that they want to adhere to the principles which are in the guidelines. So the seal plays two roles. One, the promise from them that they will provide or they conduct business in sound and goodness practice, but also it assures the consumer that if you see this seal, you have excellence in terms of service delivery. Now, of course, since it's a seal, if they behave otherwise, one indicator would be if they have a lot of complaints, then the seal can be withdrawn.
And we'll have our own independent way of checking on whether these products are abiding by the guidelines that were issued to ensure that the product that was once endorsed is delivering according to what was agreed at the beginning. So in the next 5 years, I'm hopeful that the informal sector, which forms a large part of our Zambian economy, will enjoy the benefit of being covered by different types of products.
I look forward to a day when every Zambian will have an insurance policy. It means we'll be achieving our goal of inclusivity, right from the low-income people to the high earners. And it means that we're creating a nation that has created this safe net, that in case of any calamity, they could still pick up from where they were, in that insurance will come in and support them to start another journey